Across Payday 3, there are many types of objectives, tasks, and dynamic loot that you'll come across within various heists. While some of these are fairly simple, some others can be confusing to players who are unfamiliar with the game. So today I'm here to explain many of these objectives and how they work. My goal with this is to onboard new players and give them a guide to follow. With that said, let's do this. Thermite can be set up by placing the required equipment in a marked area and then lighting it to start the flame. Sometimes you'll be provided bags of extra thermite to shorten the time needed by making the fire hotter. I know it's tempting to throw them in immediately, but don't. Doing this too fast will trigger the sprinklers and dull the fire. Instead, toss one in at a time, wait for the flames to die down, and then add another. During this, SWAT will also try to activate the sprinklers, so keep a close eye on nearby fire alarm switches. Thermal drills can be kept running using bottles of oxygen, usually provided in nearby areas. If you replace an empty bottle before the drill stops, you can keep it going, saving you from having to restart it. Regular drills, however, are much simpler. Just place them down and let them do their thing. At most, you may have to adjust them about midway through, but you'll otherwise be able to just leave them be. Keypads will require a 4-digit entry code. Specific digits required will appear highlighted, but you'll still need to figure out the order to press them in. Clues of such can be found scattered around key areas of the map. Sometimes there will be multiple codes, and you'll have to use hints to figure out which specific code is required. On most heists, there will be two kinds of keycards. Red keycards, which will be tied to the main objective in some way, or maybe a side objective, and blue keycards, which are mostly for opening security rooms. Recent heists have implemented the use of RFID tags, which are mainly used in the same way, red for objectives and blue for security. QR codes can be found on phones scattered across the map. Benches, chairs, tables, couches, anywhere you think someone may have dropped their phone, you could probably find one of these. If not, then it's likely you'll find one on the belt of a guard. Either way, it's one QR code per phone, but if you used up a QR code already and need another, just look elsewhere and you're sure to find one. Retina scanners are opened by mission-specific NPCs. You'll have to grab them and shove them into the scanner. If they die, they will no longer be able to open it. However, sometimes there will be alternative ways to open the doors. For instance, in Touch Sky, if you lose the NPC, you can just go loud and drill it open. However, this is not the case in all heists. Zip lines are used to move you, your bags, or both across areas that would otherwise be difficult to traverse. These are mostly found in the form of buyable assets to be used across most heists, but some missions include zip lines as part of the default setup. Now that you know how to get into locked areas, let's talk about what to do when you find loot. In many cases, there will be something you can do that will make your loot worth more when you secure it, starting with cash. If you see a large stack of it wrapped in plastic, there will also be a die pack inside of it that you need to disable. Multiple die packs will require you to be a bit creative if you want to save all of it before they explode. The simplest method is to wait until at least one teammate arrives before opening the door. Open the door only when you are both ready, then rush between the die packs to disable as many as you can. If you do this quick enough, you'll be able to disable all of them. Alternatively, if you happen to have ECM jammers, you can use the signal from it to delay the die packs. Just place a jammer and activate it when the door opens. Jewelry can be thrown in a multi-tag scanner to filter out unwanted items, saving the fence from having to do extra work. I know, this sounds a bit out there. This is just the explanation the game gives. Basically, it just makes the bags worth more. This means every bag you throw in comes out as quote-unquote clean, making it worth more. You can throw in as many bags you want, they'll come back as they go through a queue. Bond's components are going to quickly degrade if you don't immediately secure them in a refrigerated container. First, use a bottle of liquid nitrogen to ready the secure point. After that, collect the component and run to the container. The quicker you secure it, the more money you'll get. This is in 3 stages. The first stage is worth the most amount possible. That is stage A. Stage B means you'll lose a bit, but you'll be able to save most of the overall value. If the bag gets to stage 3, then you've pretty much lost most of the money from it. And, well, it just means you gotta be quicker. If you're getting to stage C, then I don't know what to tell you. And lastly, there's that one task that everyone seems to struggle with. When playing a heist where meth is cookable, you need to bag it shortly after it turns blue. This will happen very soon after a batch is mixed and will increase the value. Just don't let it sit for too long, or it will burn, making it worth even less than it was before. As for cooking, you'll either have to listen closely to Shade for directions.
Time for the caustic soda. Throw in a bit of muriatic acid. Add hydrogen chloride to the mix. Throw in the caustic soda. Ugh. Bane wrote hydroxide chloride. Pretty sure he means hydrogen chloride. Muriatic acid? Stop! That was wrong. Those cooks would have been helpful right now. Add caustic soda and we'll go from there. It's hydrogen chloride. Hang on, you didn't put that in yet, right? Muriatic acid, that's what we need.
Or you'll have to look for directions showing what order to follow. Each batch will have one of each of the 3 ingredients. If all of this seems complicated, I'm sure you can find a better guide elsewhere for this loot type specifically. I think a big reason why newcomers struggle with games like Payday is because it's one of the only first-person shooters these days that still makes its players have to think. Most FPS games will just throw you in a simple map with a simple objective and be like, here's a gun, now go shoot enemies. And while an element of that does exist in Payday, there is more to it. Most missions have enough RNG and player influence implemented to keep you guessing every time you boot up a heist. Even if it's something as simple as searching areas for important info, or having multiple possible methods to complete objectives, that alone adds a lot of variety that can catch new players off guard the first few times. That said, I hope I helped at least simplify the most basic tasks that you'll no doubt have to learn along the way. Without further ado, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. That's it for now. I'm out.